the young men in our communities.
Very good. And what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, and then we come back with an 8-minute segment. And that will give us an opportunity to look down deep into some of the challenges that you have. I mean, some of the experiences that you've had on the playing field, in school, and et cetera, and perhaps use that as an example of how we might be able to sort of broadcast this information, knowing that nothing that we're going to say here is new.
Right.
We've all heard this before and et cetera, but nevertheless, we appreciate hearing it again. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. At 8 minutes, and we'll come back, and we're going to start with you, Brother Coeur.
Okay.
And the purpose here is to talk about them.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you do with them over at East? You know, I mean,
right.
Yeah, you know the challenges.
Right.
I don't have to tell you what you have to deal with. You see, and so and so then after he speaks for 2 or 3 minutes in reference to it, then Brother Hayes, you come back, and then we'll go back and let each of sort of feed off one another, and then we'll move toward that last segment, and then we'll talk about young gentlemen and et cetera. So I think that's a good way to deal with that. But basically, you know what to say about it. You know, some of the things that we have to do in order to encourage them and whatever. I think that's if we can start encouraging them to go do right and go right, and et cetera, I think it's a good start. And so this will be a 8-minute segment here.
Seconds. Stand by.
Thank you, and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Reverend Daniel Hayes and Brother Richard Coeur from John Wesley United Methodist Church, we might add, because I think that both of you play significant roles in terms of your church experiences dealing with these youth and their aspirations and et cetera. And so what we'd like to do now, Brother Coeur, is to have you to start us off by giving us some information in reference to what you have done over the many years in terms of dealing with young people and how some of the things that you do.
Well, first of all, I was a wellness teacher at East and Whites Creek High School, and we dealt with various type of topics about sexuality and dealing with conflict resolution and dealing with drugs and various other topics. And I've experienced firsthand how violence in our community, along with drug use, has contributed to where our young people are today. Now, there's a reason for this. Most of our students were on the low end of the socio-economical level, and a lot of times, money can put people at ease, and lack of money will want people to go out and do things illegally in order to feel good about themselves. And this is one thing that I try to teach, is that we have to be productive citizens that will contribute to society, give back to society, and not just go out there and break laws, and even though you may disagree with some of the laws, but there's certain rules and regulations, excuse me, that we have to live by. And I try to be a role model and carry myself as a head football coach and have rules and regulations for my football team and said these rules will apply to society. Now, if you can learn to live under these rules, you should be productive as you go out and when you graduate from high school, start a family, and be a role model of your own.
And so they need some kind of guidance, or somebody to lay down some rules and regulations, and you find that you can do that best within the coaching kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely need guidance. And I always tell this story. We had an athletic banquet at White Creek, and we had Joe Gillum Sr., he's former coach, head coach at Tennessee State University. And he came to speak with us, and he told us that we need more men to be role models to our sons. He said, women or mothers raise their daughters to be like them. They take them shopping, they teach them how to cook and do various other things. And you don't see our fathers out with the sons in the community, you know, in the mall or going to some type of event, taking part with their sons and showing them how to be responsible, showing them that, you know, it's okay to act this certain way. You don't have to act like your friends down the street. And so we need more men to be the role models for our youth today.
And Reverend Hayes, I understand that you've had an extensive coaching career. Not only are you involved in the ministry, but you consider yourself a coach,
right,
in a real
right.
sense. And so what, in terms of meeting those challenges, what do you do in terms of talking to young people?
Well, one of the things that during my time that I was a Little League coach, baseball and football coach, I was very strict. Had a lot of rules, as Coach Coure was saying, had a lot of rules, and my players had to walk by my rules. Also, I had a relationship with the parents, and a lot of parents, if the kids would miss school because I did a lot of coaching, most of my boys came from, at that time, either Preston Taylor or John Henry Hale. And if their parents had any problems with them, they would always call me. And I was able to set a lot of them straight, and a lot of them are doing a lot of good today. And so I think, as Coach said, that we have to stand up and take more of a role in our young men and young women's lives.